ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another video. In this one I'll be showing you how to create this cool looking perspective inspired design. For this we'll only need 5 assets, and one of them is basically just the additional text over the top. So the first thing that we're doing is we're going into the background layer and we're making it black, just with a colour overlay just like that. And then you want to create some text that you're going to use for your background. I've decided to type "it's all about perspective" and then just reverse it. We're then making that 55% opacity, and we're adding a colour overlay of this sort of cyan blue colour that we're then going to put on overlay. There we go. You don't have to use this text obviously if you're doing your own design, but it will be in the file if you guys want to use it. It'll be in the Google Drive. I'm then dragging in these guides and I'm just selecting a colour that is visible on top of the design. Now this basically shows you where you want your square and how you want your sort of distorted text to sit, just like this. So now we're going to be doing this sort of square first. So you just want to be drawing out your square and just sort of angling it so it fits sort of within that box. Now we may make this slightly smaller or bigger at a later date, further into the design, if the proportions need to be slightly scaled down. But for now, just make this the size of the box, just like this. This is just basically a clean way of making sure everything is in the right generic kind of area and everything looks right. So we're then just selecting a font. You guys don't have to pick the exact font I'm using here, but just try and pick a bold font that when you sort of type out the words you want to use, it won't be super skinny because you will be using capitals. So this font does work well for that. So we're just typing out our text, making it bigger. We're then turning it on its side just like this so we can make it even bigger. This basically, the reason I'm doing this is to minimize the blur, because if you make it really big and then convert it to a smart object, you'll minimize the blur. You then want to make sure that you Control T on that, and you want to go to Edit, Transform, Distort, and just distort it how I'm doing it here, just lining up the corners just like this. So then guys, as you can see now, we've got it looking much straighter and overall better. I just wanted to basically all I've done is played around with it a bit more and gotten that weird sort of bend out that was in that bottom corner. So that is basically what you want to try and do. It should just be quite easy. You should just be able to distort it. And the next thing you're going to want to do is basically repeat the exact same process for your second few bits of text. And there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. We've just basically repeated that with that text, and we're going in here and you want to be adding a gradient overlay. I suggest using the shades. If you want to use colours, make sure to select a dark colour and a light colour, and make sure your dark colour goes towards the square and your light colour goes towards the top of the screen. and you want to basically do that for all 3 of your words, and just basically play around with the colours and see which ones work best. So I'll be back in 2 seconds when I've done that. And there we have it, just done that, and we're going into the filter gallery now, and you're going to be playing around with the same filters as we use in a lot of these designs to give the best effect for what we're trying to do, which is your reticulation, your grain and your halftone. If you're getting a sort of result like I get here, I suggest altering your colours slightly, and you might get completely different options, but just play around, find something you like. So I'll be back in 1 second. And there we have it. So this was the result we were left with when I messed around for a bit, altered the colours around. This is what we got. As you can see, it works really well in the way it creates a gradient of basically dots, which is the effect that we're wanting to go for. You're now making a layer behind your square, and you're making sure it's white. Your opacity is on about 65%, and you just basically want to create a glow effect. So just make your brush bigger, smaller, and just tap around the edges to make a realistic sort of glow effect. You don't need to add too much, just add bits until you're happy. Decrease the opacity if you want, about there. I'm happy with that. I think that gives off the effect that I'm personally wanting it to give off. So we're now going to add in the person. So you want to go and grab the person just here. If you drag it straight onto the page, it should go in the same area that I have it on my original. You can move this around if you want, but for the purpose of this design, we just keep it in the same kind of place. You then want to duplicate that layer, and you want to distort. So transform, distort, and just drag out the bottom of the design so it goes down your lettering. It might look a bit weird, but when we convert it basically into looking like a shadow, it will look much better. So just drag it out so it's a bit longer, about there. Isn't too bad. You then want to select that background layer and make that color overlay black. You then want to decrease your opacity so it's only just visible, and add a Gaussian blur to that, and just play around with that so you can just see the outlines. About there's okay. Just maybe add in more of the opacity, just like that. You then want to create a sort of like an overlay layer next to that. I've forgotten what those layers are called. A clipping mask. You want to create a clipping mask and just rub out the sharp edges. So then we're adding a colour overlay over the top, and for this design, if you're creating the same one as me, you're going to be using the pink colour, just like this one. And you can play around with all these filters. I just found the best one being lighten, or if not lighten, darker colour. If not dark colour, darken as well. For this we are using the darker colour. And you then want to click the layer and basically make sure you're on the brush, select black, and remove the colour around that square there. So we're then just basically adding in our extra kind of details. I just added a bit of text, a quote, and website address. I'm then adding in the wallpaper texture, placing that in just above the colour, and we're changing the blending mode to lighten and decreasing our opacity down. And that is about it. So once you've got the text in, you've got the filters in, it does simplify the design quite a lot. There's not a lot of assets, not a hell of a lot of techniques. It's just mostly about the positioning. So if you guys did enjoy this video, make sure to like and subscribe. Make sure to check out my website if you want to have a look at some of the t-shirt designs. I really like the look of this design, so I might alter it slightly and make that into a t-shirt. That could look fucking sick. That could look sick. But I would like to say a big thank you to everyone watching. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see everyone in the next one.